Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we have a fun hydrangea special that we are going to share with you. Earlier this week we did an online sale with all of our hydrangeas being 30% off. Y'all went absolutely crazy over the sale, and so I was like, you know what? Why do the online people get all the good perks? Let's bring that sale here to the garden center. So while supplies last, all of the hydrangeas here at Creekside Nursery Retail Garden Center are also 30% off. All of these shrubs are going to be gorgeous 3-gallon shrubs, big, huge, healthy root system. Perfect time to put these hydrangeas in the ground. Of course, we are in North Carolina, a zone 8A. It is mid-October, October, November, December. These are wonderful months to put your hydrangeas in the ground. I know that we see all the gorgeous show of hydrangeas when they're blooming in the summer. Really not the best time to put them in the ground here in the south because of our heat and humidity. Major stress is put on them. We want to put them in the ground when the ground is still warm, but the outside temperatures are cooler and we're getting more consistent rain. We're going to go through and I'm going to show you the hydrangeas that are here at the garden center and do a little education here, my friends, and talk about the different kinds of hydrangeas and how you can use them in your garden. Now, because we are in North Carolina and these are specials that are happening here at the garden center, when I talk about plants, I'm going to be referring to how they grow and how to take care of them here in the southeast. So if you're in another part of the country or you're much colder, it could be a little different for you. I'm just really tailoring this information to my fellow southern gardeners. Now, we are here on the shrub lot, right? And so we are going to talk about the panicle hydrangeas and some of the smooth hydrangeas. These are sun-loving hydrangeas that have to have a minimum of 6 hours of light per day. Obviously, the shrub lot gets tons of sun, but it also has irrigation. So we're going to go through and first talk about the panicles. Here we have some of the absolute most popular panicle hydrangeas. Right now, this is the hot ticket item. This is Firelight Tidbit. Firelight Tidbit is that classic panicle. You're going to know a panicle because they have more cone-shaped flowers on them. They bloom on new growth, means you're going to get flowers every single year. You want to prune them late winter into spring, so anywhere from like February through March. They are color specific, meaning your pH is not going to change them. Firelight, you can see we got all sorts of different stages of blooms here. Start out creamy white and then they will take on a pink hue. Because we are in the south, they're not going to get flaming red as if you were, say, in Michigan. Now, Tidbit gets its name because it is a nice petite little hydrangea. And when I say petite, basically a 3x3. Here in the south, she's going to be a 3x3. This is a wonderful hydrangea, really strong, sturdy flowers on it. It does not flop at all. Now, if you love Firelight Tidbit, but you want something bigger, I have a couple of them. I don't have a ton, but I have a couple of the Firelights. Firelights are the big daddies. If you know a limelight, similar in size. These are in 7-gallon containers. Y'all, the root system on this thing is extensive and gorgeous. Perfect time to put it in. But look, y'all, this is what I'm talking about. I have Firelights on Hydrangea Hill. They're at the chicken coop. They start out creamy white. If any panicle hydrangea that I have is going to turn pink, it is going to be a Firelight. Look at that. Beautiful, nice, deep rose mauve color. Your Firelights are going to get, like I said, they're going to be big. They're going to be in that 5 to 8 foot range. You can keep them pruned back if you want. These are great as a specimen plant, or like I have it, like as a hedge. These would be wonderful. So you have Firelight and Firelight Tidbit. Now, if you have been a viewer of ours at all this summer, you probably know what my favorite hydrangea currently is, and that would be my Little Lime Punch. So Little Lime Punch is going to be a little bit bigger than, say, Firelight Tidbit. It is in that limelight, little lime characteristics of a family. huge blooms that are really strong stems. They do not flop. I have had them at the house for multiple years. We've got them in the signature garden. These things do not flop. They're going to be in that 3 to 5 foot range, right? So they're going to be a little bit bigger than Tidbit. Still prune them. You still need the full sun. If you have them in full all day sun up to sundown, it does help if you can give them some irrigation, some consistent water. If you don't have irrigation, I say go for it. But if you could give them a break in the afternoon from the sun, it would be very helpful. When we fertilize our hydrangeas, we do that the same time we prune them. We use a nice slow organic release fertilizer like Rose Tone. Hydrangeas and roses have very similar needs in their food. They are woody ornamentals that flower. So Rose Tone is a great option for you. That's what the folks at Spring Meadow suggest, and they are the home of the Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. So that is why we go with Rose Tone. Bobos. I've got some Bobos right here. Bobos are going to be, again, they're panicles, they're petite. They are going to be in that basically a 3 foot tall, 4 foot wide. So they're a little squattier, right? And you can see these beautiful creamy white. Bobo itself is taking on some of that pink hue to it. This is going to be a lovely, like I said, a little short and squatty hydrangea. Beautiful option for you. Now, we're going to move, let's come down here. We're going to come back. This is a different kind. Let's come down over here. These two, we've got a couple of pufferfish still available. So pufferfish is one of the newest hydrangeas from Proven Winners, and pufferfish gets its name because it does these huge panicle blooms. But notice how light and airy these are, right? They're very open. They're not super dense and compact like the Tidbits or the little lime punches. Very light and airy. So that means, one, your pollinators love this plant. They come to it like crazy. 2, when it rains, the water goes through the flowers. It doesn't get waterlogged and flop over. Now, pufferfish is going to be kind of that medium size, 3 to 5 tall and wide. Here in the south, just go ahead and count on it being like a 5 by 5. Give it that room, right? Give it the plenty of room that it needs to grow, but it's really fun, really cool because of that different bloom shape on it. Now, next door, here we have a classic. This is the classic Little Lime. We have Little Lime Punch, and now we have Little Lime. You can see the lovely color that these are showing. You have got nice, beautiful, creamy white flowers on them. There is a tinge of lime to them, right? But then look next door. We started to have some cooler nights. It is taking on those pink hues. Little limes are going to be in that, again, it says 3 to 5 in the south, y'all. Just count on it 5 feet. 5 feet tall, 5 feet wide. Great classic option for you for your panicle hydrangeas. Love this plant. All right, now, so those are the panicles. Sun-loving, color-specific, can take full sun. I've gotten so many questions from people. They're like, I have literal all-day sun and I need a hydrangea. What kind? And I say, any kind of panicle. A panicle is going to be your best option if you have full all-day sun. Now, coming over here, we're going back to where we were just a minute ago. Here we have some smooth hydrangeas, an arborescent. Smooth hydrangeas still need that full sun, a minimum of 6 hours. They bloom on new growth. You prune them in late winter. All the same characteristics of your panicles. However, I personally have found that especially if you're not on irrigation, they need a break in the afternoon. We have the ever popular, ever beloved Incrediballs. Incrediballs are an improved version of the classic Annabelle. Massive, big, huge, pure white flowers. They're color specific, right? And so this is the one that we have on the back edge of our patio. It is in full sun up to sundown, and they are on irrigation. So that is a key point in how I'm able to keep those Incrediballs in full sun, because they get watered every day. So you have the Incrediballs, which are going to be in that, like 4 to 5 tall and wide. Now, if you want something pink, look at this. This is Incredible Blush, a color-specific, beautiful pink mauve color. All the same characteristics as your Incredibles, but it's going to be a completely different color. Lovely, rosy pink color. Here in the south though, we do deal with, right, it's hot, it's humid, it's been a long season. So at this time of year, this is when our hydrangeas look their worst. Let's just be honest about it. We're all tired of the heat and humidity, so are our hydrangeas. So if you've got, the brown heads on them, you absolutely, on your panicles and your smooths, you could go ahead and just trim those off if it bothers you. Your foliage is going to start looking a little rough, right? Maybe it has some brown spots, maybe it's thin. Don't worry about it. Here this week, we're going to go down into the low 30s. Our frost freeze is coming at some time soon. As soon as it does, all this foliage is going to get fried and it is going to drop. Then we have our lovely sticks for the winter time. But the flowers from these hydrangeas make it all worth it because we get gorgeous flowers for a huge part of our growing season. So these are the full sun loving hydrangeas that we have available, 30% off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the pines because we have a whole nother selection of hydrangeas over there that love more shade, dappled sun, morning sun, afternoon shade, that kind of thing. So we're going to head over there and show you those. Here we are in the pines. Now, the ones that I'm going to share with you are going to be ones, like I said before, they prefer a little bit more shade. Some can do more sun, some can not. Another category of hydrangeas, oak leaf hydrangeas. So oak leaf hydrangeas, I can think you can probably figure out why they get their name, is because they have these beautiful oak leaf shaped leaves on them, right? So it is an oak leaf hydrangea. These happen to be Munchkin. Munchkin is going to be one of the most petite oak leaf hydrangeas. Oak leaves can historically get really big, right? Mimi has one in her garden that is every bit of like 15, 20 feet tall. Munchkin, much more petite. It's going to be in that 2 to 3 foot range. Oak leaves, they can handle dappled sun, all day dappled sun. They can handle some morning sun, but afternoon shade. They cannot handle, typically, especially Munchkin, cannot handle that hot, intense afternoon sun. All your oak leaves are going to bloom on old growth. What does that mean? It means it's best not to prune them. If you were to prune an oak leaf hydrangea right now, this time of year, you're cutting off your flowers for next year. So just leave it alone. Let Munchkin have her space in the garden. It would also be a great one to put in a container. So if you have problems with critters eating your plants, pop Munchkin in a container, get her up off the ground so the critters can't get her. So you've got Munchkin oak leaf hydrangea. Now, coming over here to this collection, this is, these are more smooth hydrangeas, just like our Incredibles, Incredible Blushes. This is the Inventel Sublime. Now, I personally absolutely adore this hydrangea. The first time I saw it, I wasn't sure if I liked it because Sublime, color specific, the pH does not change it. They start out a lime green and they stay a lime green. So you have dark green foliage. Now, yes, these are old blooms, y'all, but you get the idea. Really nice lime green flowers on it. Your Inventabels, whether it's Inventel Sublime, Inventel Ruby, Wee White, all of those, they need to have that 5 to 6 hours of sun. But for us in the south with our heat and humidity, they don't do well in the hot afternoon sun. So give them a place where they can have sun in the morning, say up to like 2, and then they're in the complete, the nice shade, dapple shade in the afternoon. I have tried them in full sun and they literally just fry and melt, even on irrigation. If you're in a cooler zone, yes, they can handle that. Here in the south, they really struggle. So Sublime is going to be, let me give you your specs on this one, is going to be 3.5 to 5 feet tall and wide. Again, y'all, if you're in the south, go on those higher zones, right? It is going, those higher growing requirements. It is going to reach that 5 foot by 5 foot. Still blooms on new growth. You prune it, gorgeous. So we've got those. Now, before we move into some other areas, let's come over here. Here we have some of our big leaf hydrangeas, macrophyllus. This is wee bit giddy, and you can see why it's called a big leaf hydrangea, right? You have these massive leaves. People will ask, why do the leaves have the black spots on them this time of year? It's a naturally occurring fungus that we just have. Our heat and humidity do not help. You'll notice also that your maple trees will get this same thing. All it does is it makes the plant look unsightly. It does not hurt it. It will not kill it. Once you have it, basically you got it. So in the spring, you can do a preventative fungicide on it if that bothers you. But I personally, as long as they're well watered, well fed, they get a couple of spots, I'm not worried about it. No big deal. Giddy is going to be fun because Giddy has got, oh my gosh, y'all. Can y'all see that? I opened up, it is quite chilly this morning. I opened up the tag. Do you see who's in there? It's our little friend. He's cold. Okay. All right, buddy. It's all right. I won't mess with you. But Giddy has really bold colors on it. It is pH dependent, meaning that it's either going to be this really intense pink red or really, really deep blue purple on it. It just depends on your soil's pH. Poor little guy, this is so funny. Giddy is going to be, I know he's sleeping. He says it's so cold, Jenny. It's going to be basically 2 feet tall, 2.5 feet wide. We're going to tuck him back in there. No, that doesn't freak me out. We like having our good little anoles because they eat the bad bugs, the slugs, the snails, all those kinds of things. So Giddy is going to be really fun for your dappled sun, morning sun, afternoon shade. Your macrophyllus, they always historically will bloom on old growth. You know a mac because it will have this classic hydrangea bloom on it. Now, this hydrangea, y'all, I have no clue what it is. I planted this in the spring and the pot did not have a tag on it. So we just were like, well, it doesn't have a tag. We'll just go ahead and plant it. It may be giddy, it may be grumpy. It clearly blooms, is a re-blooming hydrangea, right? Because the way I see it clearly is, look, this was the bloom from this summer, aged to a lovely kind of a lime green, and we've got multiple old blooms in here. However, it is still pushing out. Yo, I've got buds of all stages in here. And so it is a very happy, re-blooming Macrophylla hydrangea. The old-timey classic macrophyllas, like what we call of our grandmama's hydrangeas, they bloomed once and that was it, right? These new Macs will re-bloom. You get growth, flowers from this year's growth, and then you get them off of new growth like this. So I am loving this hydrangea. I don't know if it's a giddy or if it's a grumpy, but it is it's a gorgeous one for sure. So that kind of gives you an idea. Macrophyllas, nice classic, like look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Beautiful. I mean, to have these kinds of blooms on your hydrangeas in mid-October in North Carolina. Now, also, as a little side note, look at this foliage. You don't see those fungus spots on it. Very happy. Yes, it's maybe a little chlorotic. Maybe it needs a little bit of fertilizer. Do you know why this one is much happier, I think, than those other ones? Because in this container, I have an aquapot insert. So it is getting constant water. It's never under stress. It's got plenty of water. And when the plant is not under stress, then it's very happy. It's not susceptible to diseases, just like us humans, right? When you're under stress, you're more susceptible to get sick. And it is producing gorgeous flowers. So those aquapot inserts, y'all, they work. Even though this is a massive pot, you can still use them. All right, so sorry, that was a little side note over there. Still going into the macrophyllas. Here we have like the Let's Dance Skyview. I'm pretty sure Skyview is a Mac as well. It is. So that re-blooming big leaf hydrangea. Now Skyview is going to have more pastel colors. And on the plant, y'all, it has the variation of colors. It is stunning. So Skyview is going to be 3 feet tall, 4 feet wide. When you're getting into these, like the Let's Dance series or the Inventel series, any kind of these series from Proven Winners, Your main difference is going to be your size. Some of them may be nice and tight and petite. Some may be like Skyview, wider than they are tall. It all depends on how you want to use them. So the Lance Dance Skyview, and again, look how gorgeous this hydrangea is. Thick, nice, strong, sturdy stems on it. Beautiful, healthy green foliage. Now, that healthy green foliage in a couple of days might just get zapped, and that is okay. This is why we plant hydrangeas now, because their root systems get really well established before the heat of the summer hits. Now, coming on over here, we have a little smorgasbord over here of more Macs. We've got Let's Dance Lovable. We've got Ariba. Notice though too, y'all, healthy foliage, because this is consistent water. We've kept a slow release fertilizer on them. You've got buds that are still going. This particular one is, that's the Ariba. So this is the Let's Dance Ariba. So if you're looking for those shady areas, your Macs are going to be a great one. And then the last type of hydrangea that is out there are our serratas. Now here we have, this is tough stuff. Tough stuff is here and tough stuff is over there. Your serratas are what we call our lace caps. So they have nice big outside petals are nice and big, and then the inside petals are smaller, more petite. But your lace caps can be really nice and big. They tend to be a little bit more flat than like the ball of a macrophylla. If you have an area that is very challenging, like my mama does, and she doesn't get enough sun for a panicle, but she gets too much sun for a macrophylla, try your serratas, try your tough stuffs, because these are native mountain hydrangeas that can handle kind of weird conditions. Once you get them established, they are very drought tolerant. Mimi does not have hers on irrigation. You know she has no irrigation in her yard. And y'all, her tough stuffs are amazing. They are every bit of like close to 3.5 feet tall, 4 feet wide. When we had the signature experience, and we had Dr. Judson LeCompte here from Spring Meadow, right? So he is the R&D breeder, works with them, and does all these great plants. He was blown away at how big and beautiful Mimi's tough stuffs were. So this is a great problem solver for those of you that maybe you're underneath pine trees and it's dry. You have competition from roots and you don't have irrigation, but you still want to have beautiful flowers. Then that is what you want. Oh, come here, Jerry. So this is, now she's an older bloom, but if you're not familiar with what a lace cap looks like, come look at this. So this really kind of, it shows you. See where you had those nice big outside petals, right? Nice and big on the outside, and then on the inside, these were little tiny little flowers. And so you've got that beautiful, nice coverage on your plants. They are going to be pH dependent. So you could be pinks, you could be blues. Mimi's, in fact, now she doesn't do anything to hers, right? She doesn't try to change the colors. On the same plant, y'all, she will have different colors. If I can find that picture, I will put it up there for you. On the same plant, one side was kind of pinky, the other side was kind of blue, and in the middle, they mixed. It's insane, gorgeous. So tough stuffs truly are a tough hydrangea. So come to the nursery. They are 30% off while supplies last, right? So while the plants are here, they are 30% off. The early bird gets the worm. We still have the aqua pots are 60% off. All Unique Stone is 30% off. People were going crazy the past 2 weekends and gobbling these things up. And then of course Land and Sea is on sale for $13.99. So come see us, y'all. If you're looking to add hydrangeas to your garden, now is the time to do it. Probably not the best time to do it in June, July, and August. You can ask me why, because I've killed many a hydrangea by planting it in that time period. So this is the perfect time to do it, even once a freeze comes, because our ground never freezes here in North Carolina, not where we live at least. So you can plant a nothing but sticks hydrangea and it will thrive and do fantastic. All right, so hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully you have learned some things on growing hydrangeas and how to take care of hydrangeas. Yeah, we'd love to see you Wednesday through Saturday, 9 to 3. As always, y'all have an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.